The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, I'm Maricela Kelleton with TV1 News.
And I'm Terry Long with John B for sports later on in the bulletin.
In this edition, 53 million kina for Southern Highlands projects, tertiary students air concerns, and women president to head local league.
Simbu Police has vowed to take back Kundiawa from illegal drugs and homebrew. The provincial police hierarchy this week launched a campaign to take back Kundiawa by getting rid of illegal drugs and homebrew on the streets and within the corridors of main supermarkets in town. Simbu Provincial Police Commander Superintendent Epenes Nili said the street sellers have been selling dangerous drugs like marijuana and homebrew in the pretext of selling betel nut and store goods along footpaths. PPC Nili said the vendors know who their customers are. Police are taking the initiative to stop this illegal activity. He said police in the province do not experience tribal fights and armed robberies, adding that Simbu is a peaceful province with peace-loving people, but only few are involved in these illegal activities. The government has committed 53 million kina to distribute among the 5 electorates of Southern Highlands Province to assist with completion of outstanding impact projects. Prime Minister James Marape made this announcement when addressing Southern Highlands in Mendi yesterday.
Prime Minister James Marape, while in the province, also delivered 4 million kina for the completion of the Mendi Airport. He also thanked Governor William Powie for the Southern Highlands Provincial Referral Hospital to be completed by 2027. Marape further announced that the government stands ready to support the provincial government in completing high-impact projects. He also called on contractors to be true to the Southern Highlands people by completing their projects on time. PM Marape expects local contractors to do their part and deliver what they owe to the people, as funding had already been released. Susan Oriape, TV1 News.
Peace and unity must prevail among leaders of Southern Highlands Province, says Prime Minister James Marape when witnessing the first Provincial Assembly meeting yesterday. Marape was pleased to see reconciliation between the provincial leaders during the Provincial Assembly swearing-in of MPs. Marape also appealed to the leaders of the province to return home and promote vital sectors such as agriculture, health, infrastructure and education, among others. He also thanked provincial leaders for putting their differences aside and attending the Provincial Assembly, expressing forgiveness, true leadership and maturity. Marape urged leaders to unite with Governor William Powie to transform the province for the better. He said the government will fully support the move made by the leaders of Southern Highlands Province to establish unity and peace for progress. The EU Straight PNG program recently organized 2 capacity development workshops in East and West Sepik provinces. The workshops are aimed at supporting government officers and private sector counterparts to mainstream gender perspectives and youth inclusion in the public sector, as well as in the agri-food value chains and businesses.
Under the theme, Institutional Gender and Youth Capacity Development for Provincial Government and Local NGO Partners and Community Leaders, the workshops brought together 27 females and 48 males from provincial, district and LLG government offices and private sector counterparts, as well as civil society organizations. The highlight of the training in East Sepik, hosted at the Maprik Resource Center, was the first official visit of the European Union Ambassador to Papua New Guinea, Jacques Fradin, to the host province of EU's biggest funded project in Papua New Guinea and the region, the EU Straight PNG program. Fradin said that if only men were in charge and took the lead, the PNG society will miss the chance of benefiting from all its human values and resources, referring to the women of PNG. Fradin urged the participants to support each other and work together to create a peaceful and smart society, adding that the European Union will continue to support the necessary evolution of the PNG society in cooperation with the national, regional and local authorities. The program's International Gender and Youth Inclusion Specialist, Patu Sheng, highlighted the program's objectives.
Rather, trying to build the institutional capacity of the provincial officers, including also civil society organization leaders and some of our implementation partners like the banks and the NGOs, church-based organizations. The gender gap in PNG in all aspects, be it in health, be it in agriculture, in political spheres, the gender gaps are very wide, and the position of PNG in as far as the gender gap is concerned is very low.
The program highlighted that the socio-economic growth of Papua New Guinea is driven by the agricultural sector, which contributes nearly 28% of the GDP and provides employment and livelihoods for 87% of the population in rural areas where women play a quality determinant role.
Meantime, the program's Gender and Youth Inclusion Specialist, Patu Sheng, emphasized the significance of institutionalizing gender in organizations and mainstreaming gender within the agri-value chains.
Speaking at the training facilitated by the EU Straight PNG program on empowering government officers to advocate for gender and youth inclusiveness in agribusiness policy making in Papua New Guinea, the FAO Gender and Youth Inclusion Specialist Patu Sheng said the key objective is to strengthen gender integration capacities in different institutions. The EU Straight program highlights that women's contribution is not recognized, and they have limited to no decision-making power at different levels of agri-food operation due to stereotyped gender norms and other social and cultural constraints.
We had done some surveys, we had done some analysis and realized that the gender capacity of these organizations or of these institutions are rather low. And like what we say is that half the world is woman and half PNG is woman. So whatever you do in PNG, be it in agriculture development, in agribusiness, in, whatever you do in PNG, if you don't include women, it implies that you're leaving half of your population behind. You're not using half the potential of the country. So we thought it wise, whatever the EU Straight is doing in this program, it would not be sustainable, it wouldn't last if half the population is left out. And most of the times, the people that implement agricultural projects on the ground are these officers, be they administrators, be they, advisory agents, be they heads of departments, heads of units of the provincial administration. They are the ones who are in close contact with the communities. So we thought that we should help them. They start by institutionalizing gender within their own organizations.
On the other side of the spectrum are young people below the age of 25 who form about 60% of the PNG population and thus the future of food security and nutrition. Yet, few young people see a future for themselves in agriculture in rural areas. Therefore, the EU Straight PNG program considers gender and youth inclusion as a critical factor affecting food security, nutrition and household incomes, and its entirety affects the sustainability of any development effort in agri-food value chains.
Moreover, Governor Luther Wenge met with tertiary students today at Tutumang House to address their frustrations regarding the Gezon Solulu Scholarship. Student leaders expressed concern that the 20 million kina set for tertiary students would be insufficient and also alluded to the incompetency of officers within the scholarship office.
Tertiary students in Morobe province have been going back and forth for 2 weeks now to ensure they are included in the provincial government's Gerson Solulu scholarship. Frustrations mounted when officers within the scholarship office kept sending them away to fulfill more requirements. Furthermore, student leaders expressed concern that the 20 million kina set for tertiary students would be insufficient. When addressing Governor Luther Wenge at today's gathering, chairperson of the Morobe Tertiary Students Union, Janet Tali, who is also a law student at the University of Papua New Guinea, described the long lines as unprofessional.
It has been reported to us that inside every day on a daily basis, requirements, the application form are changed. So about you carry this lakam, now one like the application form. Now, the application requirement forms have already been addressed. Now, this lot of information and go finish now, Larim. Issue the application form, they enter and they put in the time limitation, registration stuff, all go. Screening process, now this kind can start the office.
In response, Governor Wenge told students to comply with officers' requests and also report them for foul play.
If any officer will go to time come and report to me, we get them fired on the spot. We get them fired on the spot. And no one come to show smartness for officer. If one officer to guy thinking he can pass me look him, come report to me. Everybody thinking and walk him home.
The governor encouraged them to be patient and bear with the process. Wenge also said apart from the 20 million kina allocated for tertiary students, he will set 5 million kina aside for outstanding school fees. Frida Kana, TV1 News.
The Gerson Solulu Scholarship is not for Morobians only. Students from outside provinces who completed their elementary to secondary education in Morobe will also be considered. Morobe Governor Luther Wenge re-emphasized this at today's meeting with tertiary students.
The Gerson Solulu Scholarship, initiated by Governor Luther Wenge in 2002, will cover both Morobians and non-Morobians, as long as all requirements are met. Governor Wenge repeated the requirements to hundreds of tertiary students today at Tutumang House.
Start from elementary to Morobe. Now finish from Morobe. You civic man, beginning of the year. Elementary to grade 12, you must produce certificate to prove your kid went to elementary to grade 12 in the Morobe province. That's the minimum requirement, 100% scholarship. Take the point. You mama, you shall lost in certificate for you, yeah. Making a man about that. You look out. Certificate no good. You school people you eat by buy. Thank you. You put in money for you, so you get you get yeah. You get what you buy.
Governor Wenge said not only Morobians live and work in the province. People from other provinces have also settled and made it their home and work and contribute in terms of paying tax and delivering services. He further clarified that the scholarship will only cover those in technical institutions and undergraduates. The MPG is looking at sponsoring postgraduates, masters and doctorates next year. Susan Oriape, TV1 News.
This is TV1 News. Among stories when we return, NTD needs more funding and 20,000 applications for police recruitment.
With BSP Internet Banking, you can enjoy your banking at home, at work, or wherever you are. BSP Personal Internet Banking allows you to view your accounts and transactions, transfer money, bill pay, schedule future payments, or access your bank statements. Visit your nearest BSP branch to register now. BSP Internet Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
Open Nets.
Action, the grease stripper is more powerful than ever before. It is now 100% effective in grease removal. Every concentrated dab is packed with grease and oil stripping power. A breakthrough dishwashing solution. Action has 100% effective grease stripping power. No oiliness, no bad odor, no struggle. This is the best grease stripping.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager. Bongum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
Whether we're playing sport, exercising for fitness, being active for work or play, just having some fun, or just chilling, there is one name we can count on that we know will keep us going strong. Skell Rice. Healthy, nutritious, delicious medium grain rice full of vitamins and minerals. Skell helps us maintain a healthy, active lifestyle so we can enjoy every day.
Skell Rice. Skell Life.
Married at First Sight Australia is back.
All of a sudden you just see somebody just like knocks you off your feet.
When you marry a stranger down under.
Yeah, I'm judging his career.
Drama comes in waves.
I don't like you and I don't like you. Stop it! Let me finish my sentence!
I feel like she likes to have the power.
I always wear the pants in a relationship.
You can work with that.
You
That's
can work
quirky
with that?
name, yeah.
Married at First Sight Australia. On Lifetime.
Welcome back. Together we will beat leprosy is the theme for this year's World Leprosy Day. In compliance with the theme selected, health clinics in the national capital are collaborating with WHO, Leprosy Mission and the National Department of Health to address the issue of neglected tropical diseases.
Kaugera Clinic, under the management of Foursquare Living Light Health Services, is one of the 3 clinics in the National Capital District that is receiving and treating leprosy, besides Port Moresby General Hospital. The other 2 are 9 Mile and Lost Road clinics.
We have leprosy clinic every Thursday. Every Thursday is a clinic for leprosy that is conducted here by the clinic staff and as the volunteers. And end of every month we have dermatologists plus the team from the NUH.
Mr. Awaito said leprosy was eradicated in PNG in the past, but it re-emerged in recent years, perhaps due to some undetected ones.
Leprosy started since 2019 as a pioneer project here. So our studies that we have from the start of the leprosy clinic here in 2019, we had 98 cases. Come to 2020, we had 43 cases. And come to 2021, we had 48 cases, which has reduced, come down. And 2022 last year is 30 cases. It could be more than that.
Patricia Maroa is the community development facilitator with the Leprosy Mission. She said that there are a lot of communities in need but lack resources.
Maybe the government and some other funding organization that they could help Leprosy Mission to carry out his work to the various provinces that I have made mention of. So we already have volunteers existing, they are working. We help them to build their capacity in terms of identifying leprosy cases.
Frida Kana, TVWAN News.
World Neglected Tropical Disease Day falls on 30th of January or the last Sunday of January every year. This year, the Department of Health and WHO, with implementing partners, will focus on treatment of leprosy as one of the NTD that is deadly but can be treated. On Thursday, January 26, the stakeholders organized awareness-raising activities on leprosy, including a permitted visit to Calgary Clinic in Mosby South, NCD.
The National Department of Health, in collaboration with WHO, with implementing partners, are raising awareness in the communities on the importance of seeking medical assistance for neglected tropical diseases. One of these diseases that is treatable but is being ignored is leprosy. Margaret Kumu from Western Province, now residing in the National Capital District, didn't know she had the NTD until someone noticed the deformity of her body.
That was 6 years ago that I felt the numbness on my elbow, on the right side of my elbow. Didn't know what it was until just last year I found out, one of my sisters found out the difference on my ears, on the left side of my ear, where it was swollen and the right side was normal. I knew straight away that I had leprosy.
She later discovered that she had contracted the disease from someone else due to overcrowding in the home she was living in.
The leprosy mission that came around to CLC Church to use the venue for 2 days. So I had to go and seek help from them. So that's where I was diagnosed of this disease, and I'm on the treatment now.
Kume thanked the leprosy mission and the volunteers for helping her to be diagnosed and to receive treatment. Claire Oza is part of the health volunteers engaged by the leprosy mission to identify and bring the suspected cases of leprosy or any other NTD case to the 3 clinics in NCD that are supporting Port Moresby General Hospital in treating the NTDs.
So we bring the suspects here to the clinic at Calgary on Thursdays, Wednesdays to 3 Mile Hospital, and Fridays at Lost Road. So when we detect leprosy and we bring the suspects, they are put on medication for 6 to 12 months, depending on how serious and severe the bacteria are in their body.
Oza expressed that as volunteer, they need allowances to sustain themselves, but when their organization does not have enough, they don't pay them sufficiently. Combating leprosy and other neglected tropical diseases is a responsibility of everyone, especially corporate entities who are able to help with funding to support the work that Leprosy Mission is doing, as well as other goodwill NGOs and CBOs. Frida Kana, TVWAN News.
As of the close of police recruitment last Friday, 20,000 online applications were received for both constable recruit and officer cadet training, says Deputy Commissioner of Police Administration Joanne Clarkson. Clarkson said the hard copy applications from those that applied in the provinces have not been received, and hence the number of applications is expected to increase once all applications arrive in Port Moresby.
Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary advertised a total of 576 positions in November and December of 2022 respectively, of which 16 were civilian positions for the administration wing, 60 officer cadet positions, and 500 regular police constable recruit places. Deputy Commissioner of Police Administration Joanne Clarkson said interviews for the 16 civilian positions commenced on Monday, 23 January 2023 and will continue for 2 weeks. DCP Clarkson said a recruiting company known as Headhunters was contracted to do the shortlisting for all the applications of the 576 positions received. She said to improve governance and accountability, headhunters were contracted due to reasons relating to issues in the past with managing recruitment internally. She said once all applications for the 560 police recruitment are brought in from outside provinces, the recruitment agent will take about 2 to 3 weeks to complete the screening process of all the applications received, and those shortlisted will be informed. DCP Clarkson said the next step is to run recruitment centers. This step involves verification of certificates, conducting tests, assessments, as well as physical tests.
Meantime, Deputy Commissioner of Police Administration Joanne Clarkson said the application and recruitment process received for both constable recruit and officer cadet training is free of charge as clearly spelled out in the advertisement, and no member of the RPNGC should obtain any form of payment from those that applied. She says applications are submitted online. However, the next point of contact is a provincial training officer. Clarkson said if any member of RPNGC has obtained money from any applicants, the applicants are encouraged to report that person. She adds that RPNG has internal investigation units in each of the provinces and the Internal Affairs Directorate head office in Port Moresby to deal with such issues. This is TV1 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase easy pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager. Bongum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
You all know what to do, man.
Roosevelt was the most interesting man in America.
He gave an 84-minute address, bleeding from a chest wound.
It's now or never. For the Spanish, he's a big target. Bullets nick off his boots.
Nobody who saw him take that ride expected that he would finish it alive.
He set the world's record for the number of hands shaken on a single day in the White House.
His irrepressible energy just won people over.
Here I am!
Theodore Roosevelt. Only on the History Channel.
I want you to win somebody's heart. That's Naren.
I never asked for your help with anything, Dad. Don't impose your expectations.
I'm going to be the one who makes the final decision here.
He was elected to clean up a city.
This is an emergency.
And whatever it takes, he'll keep that promise.
Ouch.
City Hall is back in business.
Today, I'm getting more done than Beyonce.
You can't say that. The Hive is always listening.
Ted Danson and Holly Hunter.
I changed your lock screen.
God.
All new Mr. Mayor, Mondays and Tuesdays on Paramount Network.
Hey, easy, easy.
Oh, you took that like a...
Welcome back. Pacific Industries starts off the year for the hardworking staff of Port Moresby General Hospital with the donation of 325 cartons of Pepsi Max. PI National Trade Activation Manager Christine Miria expressed that they wanted to do this donation to appreciate the staff of PMGH, to recognize and appreciate the work and efforts of the staff every year. It is also to fulfill their commitment to community-based social responsibility to the hospital. Friends of POMGEN representatives were on site for the handover and thanked Pacific Industries for their continuous support and friendship. It was good to note that this was not the first time Pacific Industries have donated to the hospital through Friends of PNG. Turning overseas now. A small community in rural Queensland will lose its free-to-air commercial TV coverage today as the local council shuts down the town's transmission tower. People are putting up a fight, arguing the closure will further disadvantage the already isolated community. ABC's Pat Hegney reports.
Every evening, Ann Johnson looks forward to a cuppa in front of the telly.
I come in 7 o'clock, home and away, and we usually watch whatever's on.
But the local council at Eidsvold, west of Bundaberg, has decided to close the free-to-air TV tower, meaning she'll no longer be able to watch her favourite shows.
It's disgraceful. I don't know of anybody, any other place I've ever heard of that's lost TV coverage.
The council says the TV tower is too costly to maintain.
The cost of continuing the service and also the change to television services over that 15-year period. And secondly, this is not core business of council.
But locals say TV coverage is a crucial lifeline for their small community.
I think it's extremely important, particularly given our rural nature. We are a more isolated town. We don't have access to a lot of general services and activities.
The local council says residents will still be able to access free-to-air TV through a federal government subsidised service known as VAST. But locals say the setup costs mean many in the community will go without TV altogether.
It's $800 straight up, and then for any additional TV it's a further $350 on top of that. So that is just out of reach for the vast majority of people in community.
What's going on, what the news, our local news, that's all going to be taken away from us.
In this day and age, to me, it's just going back to dark old days.
The Prime Minister has visited Northwest Tasmania to announce a new employment model which will be piloted in the state with the aim of boosting GP numbers in rural and remote areas. ABC's Monty Boville reports.
In a joint agreement between the state and federal governments, Tasmania will be the first state in the country to trial a statewide rural GP training model. Currently, to train as a GP, registrars must undergo their years of training through the Commonwealth, often jumping between practices and losing entitlements along the way. Under the new $13 million agreement announced today between the Tasmanian and federal governments, trainee GPs in rural areas can be employed by the state instead, making salary and entitlements comparable to doctors in the hospital system. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says it will make general practice a more attractive career path.
This program will be Tasmania-wide. We'll deliver some $8 million to make a difference here, to make sure that people who are working through the hospital system can get the training that will enable them to become GPs, particularly in rural communities. This is about boosting primary care and taking pressure off the hospital system. This is a great example of the Commonwealth working with state governments to make a difference for health care around the country.
The Prime Minister says he'd like to see more states implement a similar model in coming years.
Australians continue to take advantage of working from home arrangements with occupancy rates of offices in capital cities still below pre-pandemic levels. Employers, landlords and retailers are now changing what's on offer to try to entice workers back.
Despite having a successful online store, Sonia Ari told her partner they had to have a shop in the city.
We said, no, we've got to go out. We've got to be out there and we've got to see people to see us.
Brands like Arwen are part of a shift in our central business districts, where the destruction of COVID has created opportunities.
Everything happens here and starts here and grows here.
Rents aren't falling, but landlords are providing more flexible leases, much shorter than the standard 5 to 7 years.
So you start to see a lot of creative, interesting entrepreneurial businesses do some different things that weren't available to them previously.
In offices, some work-from-home days are now permanent. Data suggests even in cities like Adelaide, Brisbane and Perth that avoided the worst of lockdowns and restrictions, fewer workers are going to city offices than before the pandemic.
So that 3 days in the office or 2 days available flexibly seems to be something that the corporate world has settled on.
You'd expect companies to be taking on smaller, cheaper offices, but the opposite is happening.
We're seeing that people are taking up slightly more space, about 3.7% more space, but the biggest trend is actually moving into better offices.
Change is a constant in our cities, but COVID made a seemingly permanent shift in when and why people visit. Instead of relying on a steady stream of office workers, CBDs are changing what they offer to lure people back.
Sonia Ari wants to stay long term.
Having a store and people seeing it and coming and trying it and mingling with the people, they love us, so we love them too.
Love in the heart of our cities.
Coming up in sports with Terry, big cash incentive for pre-season and Hohola off-season heads to finals. And taking us to the break is the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking and local news delivered direct to you. Read anytime from anywhere. Download the Loop PNG News app today. Available now on Google Play Store and the App Store.
Save time and money and pay your TV bills with a breeze. Call us today on toll-free number 1515 to set up your monthly postpaid TV subscription. And if you do, you can watch Digicel TV on your mobile for free. No data costs and no additional subscription. Don't miss out. Call us today for your residential postpaid TV package today. Digicel TV. More channels, more choice, more value.
Freeze! Nobody move! Shoot! Don't move!
Okay.
Dang it! Don't even think about it! You need you put all the cash in a bag for me. You, pies. Give me some of the good pies.
That's your finger.
Is it? I wouldn't get sassy. Is this it?
You like apple?
I do like apple.
This is a salvage like nothing we've done before.
No steel is safe.
A crushed car. Oh, look at that. Hundreds of tent stakes. Elevator cable Damascus. Whoa. Railroad spike sand my. That second quench, super stressful. Stress on the metal, stress on me. Get it! There you go!
It's time to throw them in the forge and get them hot. Woo! Forged in Fire. On the History Channel. Get ready.
This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life!
For more. LOL. Knockouts.
We don't award points for style, but I think we should.
ROFL.
Oh my God!
And the all-new season of Wipeout. New season Mondays to Fridays at 7. Only on AXN.
Thanks for staying with us. In sports, NRL has brought in $100,000 incentive for clubs to take preseason games seriously, adding competition points that will be skewed towards teams that play attacking football. All 17 NRL clubs plus Super League club St. Helens will be eligible for the cash prize, which will be awarded to the team that finishes on top of the competition table, which will play out over 2 weeks.
The competition has been named the Precision Challenger and will be played between Thursday, February 9 and Sunday, February 18. Teams will receive 12 points for a win, 6 points for a draw, and will also be eligible for a bonus point by scoring 5 or more tries, making 5 or more line breaks, and 10 or more offloads. As a result, teams can earn a maximum of 15 points per match. NRL CEO Andrew Abdo said having 18 teams and the added innovations, prize money and all matches televised live will create an exciting 2 weeks of football for fans. The 2023 Precision Challenger offers a new experience for clubs, players and most importantly for the fans ahead of another highly anticipated Telstra Premiership in 2023. Over 2 action-packed weekends will have traditional rivalry matches, the inclusion of St. Helens, the Dolphins featuring in pre-season for the first time, the Charity Shield and the World Club Challenge to look forward to. Squads will be kept at 28 players for their Week 1 matches and 26 players for Week 2 matches.
The world-famous Sydney Harbour Bridge provided a backdrop as captains of the 28 men's and women's teams gathered ahead of the HSBC Sydney Sevens, which kicked off today, Friday, January 27. The high-speed all-action event continues Saturday with culmination of the pool phase, the quarterfinals, before the semi-finals and finals on Sunday.
A popular event returning to the city for the first time since 2020, Australia's men's and women's teams will be looking to put on a show for their fans as they enter the field at the Allianz Stadium as reigning series champions. However, New Zealand's Black Ferns Sevens and All Black Sevens lead the current series standings and arrived in confident mood following their gold and silver medal wins respectively on home soil in Hamilton last weekend. The 2023 series is shaping up to be the most competitive in history, with the prize of Olympic Games Paris 2024 qualification on offer for the top 4 women's and men's teams in the 2023 series standings, while host France have pre-qualified for next summer's pinnacle event in the nation's capital. The men's series has seen 4 different gold medal winners, Argentina, Australia, Samoa and South Africa, in the 4 rounds to date, with New Zealand, Australia and the USA have reclaimed all the medals in the first 3 rounds of the women's competition. In the men's tournament in Sydney, Pool A sees Hamilton winners Argentina drawn with hosts Australia, England, Great Britain and Canada. Pool B is led by current series leaders New Zealand together with South Africa, Kenya and Uruguay. USA, Ireland, Samoa and Spain will compete in Pool C. Double Olympic champions Fiji will be looking to return to form and are in Pool D with France, Tonga and Japan. The women's pools will see New Zealand paired with Japan, France and PNG in Pool A. USA have a strong-looking Pool B that includes Great Britain, Fiji and Canada. Hosts Australia are in Pool C together with Ireland, Spain and Brazil.
One of Port Moresby's oldest off-season rugby league competitions, the Hohola Rugby League, will stage its remaining matches of the regular rounds this weekend before they head into the finals. The competition, which ran for 12 weeks, also had intervals of newly introduced Battle of the Wards, with the big decider for this Sunday at the famous EP Park.
After 12 weeks of regular round matches, the Hohola off-season rugby league competition is set for its semi-final series. Trialled out, the Battle of the Wards series, which is a replica of the NRL State of Origin concept, has attracted big crowds as witnessed in Games 1 and 2, with the third and decider looming between Ward 7 and Ward 8.
I'm this Blues and Maroons now. We play starting. Now we play starting. But next year goes again. We play look forward. Continue hosting the Blues and Maroons. All idea bring him a local player come outside. Expose him all. lo challenge him all DCL Cup team lo 1-1-2-2 all mangi play good number ya lo put him all going through lo DCL Cup no expose him all local talent blimi lo off season ya. Tupla team one them game strong but all league all errors na all drop balls na knock on now. Mosema all Maroons win the first game ya, but I think round 2 tupla game one them tight but also lo look lo me look mosem Maroons all play good all right about winning the series ya.
After the final 12 weeks of the competition, the top 8 from each pool will go into the top 16 elimination rounds, with top 4 going into the Cup quarterfinals, while bottom 4 will compete for the bowl finals.
Me play 12 rounds all around. So before you go into the final playoffs, play me. Date play me the final and probably February or March or something.
The Hona off-season is renowned for engaging and providing pathways for unemployed youths in rugby league for decades, and with the introduction of the Battle of the Wards, it has added some value to the surrounding community, especially providing an incentive for the youths to change their mindset and respect themselves and people in the community they live in.
BSP Financial Group, in developing and identifying young and local sporting talents, has pitched in 19,000 kina to the Port Moresby Men's Softball Association. The financial backing seals BSP's commitment as the naming rights sponsors of the 2023 League softball competition for junior softballers in Port Moresby. BSP sponsorship manager Amelia Minopu, when presenting the check to the committee, said the fundamental aspect of the bank's support is by always placing our people and communities at the core of our business, not only through sports, but other community engagement which develop participation and growth. Minopu said the bank's involvement in the local communities, specifically with youth and kids sports, has always been a staple of our mission to help identify and develop local talents. Kokopo's City League has made history by electing a female to head the local league. Nicole Camara was recently appointed as president of Kokopo's City League for the next 2 years.
An outgoing sports enthusiast, Nicole Camara has put her hand up to take charge of the Kokopo City League after it was dormant for the past 2 years due to the pandemic. The new look executives is dominated by women. Marcus Kaugla is vice president, Dora Torvald secretary, and treasurer is Claire Kulol. Nicole, who hails from Matalao village in Rabaul district, would be the first female in the history of rugby league in East New Britain province and PNG.
Aside from me, I'm really honored. And big step forward, me meritu, here East New Britain, and throughout PNG. Obviously, when it's something back up here, province, or Narapla province too, by looking. Big walk about, but me now here East New Britain as well as Kokopo is women's rugby. You may got Kumul's team this year, last year, all Golo England, or working good walk, but I think we need to put a bit more effort on women's rugby. And me being in this position now gives us the opportunity to go forward.
Speaking after her election, Nicole said it's a great honor and privilege taking up the league presidency role and a big step forward for women's rugby league in the province and the country. An excited president said being in this position now, they are ready to go forward with new ideas which she hopes will attract more youths, both boys and girls, to come out and play rugby league.
Walkabout when we play this year, we will still hold the normal games as we do, every weekend. But obviously, people are like bringing in a lot more youths. Rugby league game blue me lo Papua New Guinea. Na me pro tola need lo step up league. Need lo pull him all plenty youths come inside, get them on board. Me pro him graveyard lo here na me look him sample weekend him say empty. So pull up. So we need to go back to bringing a lot of youths back in.
Nicole's first task was to oversee Game 1 of the Clash of Towns series last weekend, which was won by Kokopo Marlins. This weekend, Game 2 of the series will be hosted by Rabaul League at the Queen Elizabeth Park. Susan Oriape, TVWAN Sports.
And that wraps up the sports segment for now. It's back to you, Maricela.
Thanks, Terry. Before we go, remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water. cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Thanks for watching. Have a safe weekend. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.